Gold dragons were the strongest and most majestic of the metallic dragons, and were considered the apex of the draconic race. Graceful and wise, they were relentless and dedicated foes of evil, injustice, and foul play. While respected for their fairness and knowledge, they were also grim and reserved, and usually avoided contact with the other dragons. A gold dragon's head was characterized by a short face with long and smooth metallic horns that swept back from its nose and brow, as well as the neck frills that adorned both sides of its neck. From the mouth and nostrils descended 4 pairs of long, flexible muscular spines that resembled whiskers or barbells. As the dragon aged, its pupils faded away until its eyes acquired an appearance of shiny, liquid gold. Gold dragons had broad, sail-like wings that started from their shoulders and extended all the way to the end of their extremely long tails. During flight, the wings moved in a graceful, rippling motion that resembled swimming. This elegant flying motion was considered by many scholars, as well as by the gold dragons themselves, to be the most graceful thing among true dragons. When on the ground, the wings were kept closed upright over its back if the dragon was at rest, or folded facing back if the dragon was walking or running. Gold dragons are known for being justicars and seeking out quests that promote good. If you were unfortunate enough to find yourself at the fury of a gold dragon, you would have found a relentless enemy that knows no rest until the complete subjugation of evildoers. A gold dragon will only accept a complete victory over evil. Strong believers in the greater good and in the rule of order, gold dragons were sometimes viewed as arrogant and dismissive. They tended to avoid philosophical or ethical discussions with beings they deemed inferior, although they enjoyed arguing in favor of law. Due to their vast superiority with respect to the average humanoid, they often had difficulty in understanding the everyday troubles and needs of communities, and in some rare instances might even end up becoming tyrants. Older gold dragons were capable of shape-shifting into humanoid or beast forms. When traveling, it was common for a gold dragon to assume a particularly non-threatening form in order to put adventurers at ease, as well as to observe local communities and to catch up on gossip and news of the outside world. In many cases, the dragon would use its disguise to provide help, company, and comfort to those in need, or to set up traps for evildoers by using itself as bait. Every gold dragon in the world acknowledged a hierarchy which spanned the entire race. The structure had a single elected leader at the top, a worm or great worm called the King of Justice, who bore the honorific Your Resplendence and served until death or resignation. The selection of a replacement, either by election or more frequently by acclamation, was a process in which all gold dragons took part. It was also possible for 2 gold dragons of equal merit to be elected as leaders, in which case they could share duties or alternate leadership. Because gold dragons were well aware of their responsibilities, the duties of the King of Justice were typically light. They would most frequently act as advisors to other dragons in their quest to defeat evil, pointing out consequences and hidden ramifications. Less frequently, the gold dragon ruler acted as a representative of the entire race when dealing with other species. Because gold dragons were well aware of their responsibilities, the duties of the King of Justice were typically light. They would most frequently act as advisors to other dragons in their quest to defeat evil, pointing out consequences and hidden ramifications. Less frequently, the gold dragon ruler acted as a representative of the entire race when dealing with other species, or as a judge in the extremely rare occasion in which a gold dragon committed an offense. One may find gold dragons around deep gorges, high plateaus, or ancient ruins, but they also had a preference for rolling hills and open plains, and occasionally even communities which they had chosen to watch over. They were very private creatures, mostly keeping to themselves and their families, and rarely fraternizing with other dragons. As such, they usually sought out remote locations for their lairs. Gold dragons did not have a strong preference about their lair, but they tended to choose lairs made of stone, such as caves and castles, and recruited other loyal creatures as guards. The lair of a gold dragon possessed some residual magic. While in its lair, a gold dragon had a limited capability to glimpse into the future and to banish invaders into a dream plane of the dragon's own creation. The region around the lair also experienced some magical effects, such as banks of opalescent mists that haunted evil creatures and warned good creatures of danger. The dragon also was capable of establishing a telepathic contact with sleeping creatures within 6 miles of its lair. Within 1 mile of the lair, gems and pearls shone and emitted a faint light. Goat dragons enjoyed treasure that showed artisanship, such as paintings, sculptures, calligraphy, and porcelain. They had a great fascination for magic items and loved to add them to their hoards. It was common for them to magically ward their hoards, so that it was impossible for an item to be removed without the dragon's knowledge. When choosing a mate, goat dragons could spend years debating philosophy and ethics and questing together as part of their courtship. Prospective mates then sought approval from the King of Justice. Some goat dragons mated for life through a rite known as the Oath of Concord, while others only mated for a short time. They could be monogamous or hold several mates at the same time. A newly hatched goat dragon had dark yellow scales dotted with metallic specks that increased in size with age, until they totally covered the scales, giving a shiny and radiant golden color to the adult dragon's entire body. Goat dragons raised their young with exceptional care. A goat dragon wormling did not have whiskers, but they developed quickly. It was also common for goat dragon parents to send their young to the care of foster parents. This could serve a variety of reasons, such as freeing the parents for a quest or just trying to broaden their horizons. Goat dragons were the only species of dragon to have their own written language. However, they could only write in human form, since the dragon claws were not exactly practical for holding writing equipment. These dragons even kept records of historic events. The content of these records was mostly useless to human historians, however, as they described dragon events like dragon births, trials, and deaths, rather than events that affected the non-dragon world. So yeah, that's pretty much goat dragons, just some really good dudes. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. See ya.